Go.
Welcome to Brutally Honest Sports. This is Matt Butts along with Matt Carey.
We're going to bring you sports news in a way you've never seen before. We are the politically incorrect. And we're going to start today by talking about the NFL Combine, especially the wide receiver speed.
Talking about wide receiver speed, we only saw 2 running backs that broke the 4.4 mark.
Running backs! Wide receivers!
2 receivers in this year's Combine that broke the mark of 4.4. To put this in perspective, my grandmother, who lost a foot in a kitchen accident, could run a 4.5 40.
And... okay, I don't even know where to go from there, actually.
Damn it, Carey.
Put it in perspective, DeMarcus Ayers ran a 4.72 and DeRomney Wilson ran a 4.85. That is awful!
I think that he just said DeRomney, but I think the name is actually DeRunya. And by the way, there is a wide receiver from Texas Tech named Jakeem Grant. He ran a 4.140, and he was not even invited to the NFL Combine. I don't understand how we could not invite this man to the Combine when we have guys running a 4.8. Do you understand this?
I cannot believe this. This is unbelievable.
There were only 2 receivers, Will Fuller out of Notre Dame and Colby Listenby out of TCU, that broke a 4.440. I don't understand. Like, do you think that these receivers can succeed in the NFL?
I believe these receivers cannot succeed in the NFL today.
Consider Wes Welker. Some could argue that, he was made by his quarterbacks. He had Tom Brady, and then he came to the Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning. Some could say that his quarterbacks made him great. But you...
All right, Matt, I'm going to interrupt you right there.
All right, go ahead.
Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, they are possibly 2 of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, minus Joe Montana.
I understand.
You're telling me this guy is short. He is all of 5-0. Are you kidding me? He would be cleaning dish towels.
You could have the greatest quarterback in the history of the world, but if this man can't get open, you're not going to complete passes. It doesn't matter if he's got a 4.2 40. If he can create separation, if he has quickness and he can get away from cornerbacks, he's going to get open. And that's what this guy was able to do. It's not just Wes Welker either. It's Anquan Boldin. This man, he had Joe Flacco as his quarterback. Some would argue that Joe Flacco is an elite quarterback. Some would say that he's not. It's a debate that's hot in the NFL right now, to be honest.
Matt, I'm going to hold you right there. We're not going to start on Joe Flacco right there. But I'm just going to say for 1 second that Wes Welker, did you see him at the end of his career? He had a helmet the size of Mount Rushmore because his head took so many beatings. That man could not count to 7.
Wes Welker, he's still going to be remembered as one of the great receivers in this league.
He will be forgotten faster than a grandpa with dementia.
I disagree. You will be able to ask people who is Wes Welker in 30 years, and they'll be able to answer the question.
Okay, the people who said Wes Welker, they will be the ones who have dementia again.
Okay.
Because they cannot remember.
Okay, Wes Welker, we're going to agree. Maybe we'll disagree. I don't care. Wes Welker will be remembered as one of the great receivers of this league. But Anquan Boldin, who has he had as his quarterbacks in the recent years? Joe Flacco. Some will say that he's good. Some will say that he's not. Anquan Boldin was a great receiver with Joe Flacco. Is that because he was blazing by cornerbacks? No. It was because he was jumping up, making great catches over the top of cornerbacks. Who has he had more recently? Colin Kaepernick. Are people going to say that he's a great quarterback? Absolutely not. But he was making plays with Colin Kaepernick. Is that because he was running by cornerbacks?
I'll hold you
Absolutely not.
Matt, I'll hold you right there.
You don't need 4.2 speed to be a great receiver in the league.
Anquan Boldin, great receiver, great player. I respect him as a man. That's all I have to say.
What does that even mean? He was a good receiver.
Our next topic of the day, we're going to talk about a little bit of mock draft, especially Carson Wentz, who is projected in multiple mock drafts to the Cleveland Browns.
I would first just like to say to Carson Wentz, we're sorry. The Browns since 1999 have had 20 starting quarterbacks, and we're about to rattle off for you some of their records. All right, first of all, we got Brady Quinn,
3-9.
Brandon Weeden,
5-15.
Luke McCown,
0-4.
Ty Detmer,
0-2.
Spurgeon Wynn,
0-1.
Doug Pederson,
1-7.
Bruce Gradkowski,
0-1.
Ken Dorsey,
0-3.
Colt McCoy,
6-15.
Derek Anderson,
16-18.
Jeff Garcia,
3-7.
Kelly Holcomb,
4-8.
Charlie Fry.
6-13.
Seneca Wallace.
1-6. Why are you even on this list?
Thaddeus Lewis.
0-1.
Jason Campbell.
1-7.
Trent Dilfer.
4-7. Why did the Ravens trade you? I'm just kidding. You suck.
Tim Couch.
22-37. You are the biggest bust in NFL history.
Jake Delhomme. He did not have a losing record.
He did not, Matt, but 2-2 is still pretty piss poor.
And now Brian Hoyer, let me say, the greatest quarterback in the history of the Browns.
3-0. Wow, that is some record-breaking numbers right there.
And let's not forget the most recent of the Browns quarterbacks, Johnny Manziel. What a fucking disaster this man was. Some people had questions about him coming out of Texas A&M, but I don't think anybody could have expected the atrocity that he would truly come to in the NFL.
Matt, you're right. Everyone gave him the benefit of the doubt, but they were proven wrong instantly. That man, he drank every weekend. He had pictures taken with champagne bottles.
When he was fined, he celebrated those fines by showing videos and pictures of his money on Instagram. He celebrated when he was fined. Can you excuse this?
No, you cannot excuse this. This man should be banished from the league. He should be pushing a shopping cart under a bridge within a year. We're going to talk about Brock Osweiler here. My man just got a big contract from the Houston Texans, which he barely deserved. He played 5 games, and he earned over $70 million. Okay? And then he goes, in the next week, he's shoving a woman outside of a pizza place, no less. There, he's a little salty. He got benched for the Sisters of the Poor. Peyton Manning, he's awful, and he got benched for that. He's a great player. He's an honorable man.
Be careful about what you're saying.
He played worse than my grandmother has no arms.
See, I understand what you're saying. Peyton Manning was like a half-blind orangutan by the end of the season, but you don't go talking about one of the greatest of all time.
He's a great quarterback pair. Last series segment of the day is the recent retirees from the NFL. Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson, Jared Allen, Marshawn Lynch, Peyton Manning, these are all huge players in the past decade of the NFL.
Now, some would say that Lions fans are literally cursed. Here is why. Megatron, Calvin Johnson, retires after just 9 seasons. Does this sound familiar? Yes, it does. Barry Sanders, an NFL legend, retired after just 9 seasons. The Lions are one of only 4 teams in the NFL that have never even played in a Super Bowl. What a time to be a Lions fan. Am I right? Charles Woodson, great career with the Packers, won a Super Bowl, he got his ring. He went to the Raiders, who are now on the rise, but have never seriously been a Super Bowl contender. Charles Woodson, great career, good for him. Jared Allen, he went from the winless Bears to the undefeated Carolina Panthers this season. Got a Super Bowl bid, came up short, but what a way to end his career.
Marshawn Lynch, also known as Beast Mode, who has had some of the craziest runs in NFL history. This man can run over anyone. This man can do anything. This man loves Skittles, more importantly. I don't know what else to say about him other than he was a serious contender for the NFL Hall of Fame. On to the next guy, Peyton Manning. What are we going to say about Peyton Manning?
Well, there's a multitude of things that we could say. We could talk about his Hall of Fame play, his time with the Colts, 2 Super Bowl victories, or we could talk about the fact that he put his ball sack on the face. Shit, man!
Possibly putting his nuts on a trainer's face while he faced time at Tennessee. HGH, this man cannot throw a football more than 10 yards without it flopping around like a goddamn wounded duck. So let's brush away that accusation right there.
There are many that would say that he was no longer good at football. So I think it was the...
Which is also true, because he was fucking awful this season.
I think, for both of us, it's safe to say that it was time for Peyton Manning to hang it up. Thank God he did.
That's end of tape.